The 2006 penny carries the classic design that's been featured for over a century. On the obverse, you'll see Abraham Lincoln's profile, which was designed by Victor D. Brenner. This has been the same design since 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. The details of the design remain unchanged, with the words "In God We Trust" inscribed above Lincoln's head and the word "Liberty" to the left. At the bottom, you'll find the year 2006, with United States of America encircling the top. If you flip it over, the reverse side showcases the Union Shield, which has represented unity and strength since its introduction in 1959. When it comes to the value of the 2006 penny, we're talking mostly about face value here, which is just 1 cent. However, if you're a coin collector, the value can vary depending on the coin's condition. Most 2006 pennies are worth, 1 cent. But if you happen to have one in uncirculated or proof condition, it could be worth more. Anywhere from 10 to 50 cents, or even higher in some cases. Additionally, rare varieties, such as those with certain mint errors, might fetch even more. So while it's not likely you'll strike it rich with a 2006 penny, it's still worth checking for those special finds. Now let's talk a bit about the historical context. The year 2006 was an interesting time for U.S. coinage. George W. Bush was the president, and during that year, over 8 billion pennies were minted. This period also marked an ongoing debate in Congress about whether to eliminate the penny entirely. The production costs of the penny had risen, with each one costing more to produce than its face value. Despite this, the penny survived, and as we know, it's still a key part of the U.S. monetary system today. One thing to note is that the 2006 penny was made primarily from zinc, with just a small amount of copper. Since the 1980s, the U.S. Mint had reduced the copper content of the penny to save money, and by 2006, pennies were composed of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. This shift helped reduce the production costs of the coin, although it also meant the penny wasn't as heavy as its predecessors. Speaking of fun facts, did you know that the 2006 penny was one of the last to feature a copper-based design? In fact, due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint made the decision to move away from using copper in favor of zinc. This also marked a time when the Mint was pushing for changes in how coins were produced, and even started discussions about redesigning coins altogether. But despite the rising costs, the penny remains in circulation. In conclusion, the 2006 1-cent coin is more than just a small piece of change. It's a reminder of how coins evolve over time and their role in the economy. While it may not be worth a fortune, it still carries significant historical and cultural value. If you've got one of these coins in good condition, it might just be a hidden gem in your collection. Next up, the 1988 D penny features the familiar design that has been part of American currency for over a century. On the obverse or front, we see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln. This design, created by artist Victor D. Brenner, has been the face of the penny since 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The inscription, "In God We Trust," sits above Lincoln's head, while "Liberty" is to the left and 1988 is inscribed at the bottom. This was the year of the coin, making it a part of the long history of pennies. Flip the coin over, and you'll see the reverse side featuring the traditional design of the Union Shield. This has been used since 1959 and symbolizes strength and unity. Around the shield, the words United States of America are inscribed, and at the bottom you'll find E pluribus unum, which means out of many, one, reflecting the country's motto. Now let's talk about the value of the 1988 D penny. Most of the 1988 D pennies that you come across are worth just 1 cent, the face value of the coin. However, like with any coin, the value can change depending on the condition. If you have one in uncirculated condition, you might be able to sell it for a little more, somewhere in the range of 10 to 50 cents, or possibly higher, depending on how pristine it is. Coins with mint errors or special varieties can be worth even more, so it's always a good idea to take a close look at your pennies to see if they have anything that sets them apart. The D mint mark on this coin means it was minted in Denver. The Denver Mint, which was established in 1906, produces coins and also stores much of the country's gold and silver reserves. So if you find a 1988 penny with the D mint mark, you can trace it back to that iconic mint in Denver, Colorado. As for the historical context, the 1988 penny was minted during the presidency of Ronald Reagan. The U.S. economy in 1988 was experiencing significant growth, but there were ongoing concerns about inflation. Interestingly, during this time, the penny was still being produced with a significant amount of copper, although by this point, the coin had already started transitioning to a higher percentage of zinc. The 1988 penny was composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, which contributed to its weight and the cost of production. In fact, the rising costs of copper and zinc were starting to make an impact on the production of the penny, and debates about the future of the coin were beginning to heat up. Some lawmakers were already considering eliminating the penny due to its cost of production, which exceeded its face value. However, the penny survived, and it's still in circulation today. Next up, the 1980 penny features the iconic design that's been part of American currency for over a century. On the obverse, we see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which was designed by Victor D. Brenner. This design has been on the penny since 1909 in honor of Lincoln's 100th birthday. Above Lincoln's head, you'll find the inscription, "In God We Trust," with liberty to the left and the year 1980 at the bottom. The detail of Lincoln's face is unmistakable, and this design has become synonymous with U.S. coinage. Flipping the coin over to the reverse side, you'll see the Union Shield, which was introduced in 1959. The shield represents the strength and unity of the United States, and the words United States of America and E pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one, are inscribed around it. While this reverse design has been used since 1959, it still serves as a symbol of the nation's resilience. Now let's talk about the value of the 1980 1-cent coin, specifically in extra fine condition. In terms of face value, the 1980 penny is worth just 1 cent. But when it comes to coin collecting, condition plays a huge role in determining the coin's worth. Extra fine condition means that the coin has seen some wear but still retains a lot of its original detail. The coin might show some slight wear on the highest points, but the features, especially on Lincoln's portrait and the shield, are still sharp and clear. In extra fine condition, a 1980 penny can be worth a little more than its face value. On average, you might see it valued between 10 and 25 cents, depending on the specific condition and how well it's been preserved. If it's in exceptional extra fine condition, it could fetch up to 50 cents or more. So while it's not exactly rare or incredibly valuable, a penny in extra fine condition is definitely more sought after than one that's seen a lot of damage. The 1980 penny was minted during the presidency of Jimmy Carter, and it's important to understand the historical context of that time. The U.S. economy in 1980 was facing some challenges, including high inflation and interest rates. The coin was produced during a time when the price of copper was rising, which made the cost of manufacturing the penny more expensive. At the time, pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, and the rising copper prices were already sparking debates about whether it was time to eliminate the penny altogether. Despite these challenges, the U.S. Mint continued to produce pennies in large quantities, and 1980 was no different. In fact, over 7 billion pennies were minted in 1980, and this was part of a larger trend throughout the 1970s and 1980s when the U.S. Mint was producing massive amounts of coins to keep up with the economy. Even though the penny's cost to produce was rising, it remained a staple in everyday transactions. The 1980 penny was one of the last of its kind before the mint started exploring the possibility of reducing the amount of copper used in pennies, which would eventually lead to the composition change in the 1980s and 1990s. Next up, the 1977 D penny features the classic design that has been the hallmark of U.S. 1-cent coins for over a century. On the obverse, you'll see the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, created by artist Victor D. Brenner. This design has been on the penny since 1909, commemorating the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Around Lincoln's portrait, you'll find the words, "In God We Trust" above, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1977 at the bottom. Lincoln's image is highly detailed, and the coin was produced with a clear commitment to showcasing the great president's likeness. Flipping the coin over to the reverse side, you'll see the Union Shield design, which has been in use since 1959. The shield, with its 13 stripes, symbolizes the unity of the United States, and you'll also see the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum inscribed around the shield. The reverse side of the penny has remained mostly unchanged for decades, offering a symbol of the nation's strength and unity. Now let's talk about the value of the 1977 D penny. Most of these pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, as that's their face value. However, if you're a collector, the value can vary depending on the condition of the coin. If you happen to have a 1977 D penny in mint or uncirculated condition, it could be worth more than just its face value, anywhere from 10 to 25 cents, depending on the quality and how well it's been preserved. A penny in extremely fine or uncirculated condition can even go for more. But for the most part, the 1977 D penny remains affordable and widely available. The D mint mark on this coin indicates it was minted in Denver, Colorado. The Denver Mint has been producing coins since 1906, and it's one of the key facilities for U.S. coin production. So, when you see the D mint mark, you can trace it back to that historic mint. As for the historical context, 1977 was a year of transition in the United States. Jimmy Carter was president, and the country was facing a period of economic instability, including high inflation and energy crises. In terms of coinage, this was a time when the U.S. Mint was still producing pennies with a significant amount of copper. The 1977 penny was made from 95% copper and 5% zinc. This composition made the penny relatively heavy compared to later versions, which would see a shift toward more zinc content in the coming decades due to rising copper prices. The coin features the Shoshone guide Sacagawea, a pivotal figure in the Lewis and Clark expedition, carrying her infant son, John Baptiste, on the obverse side. The reverse showcases a soaring eagle, symbolizing freedom and the pioneering spirit. The 2000 D Sacagawea dollar was minted at the Denver Mint, and millions of these coins were struck for general circulation. Unlike the ultra-rare Cheerios dollar or the 2000 W gold prototype, the 2000 D coin does not have unique design features that set it apart. However, its historical significance and role in modern U.S. coinage make it a popular piece among collectors and enthusiasts. So, what is the value of a 2000 D Sacagawea dollar today? For circulated coins, the value generally remains at face value, $1, as they were mass-produced. However, uncirculated or mint condition coins, particularly those graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can fetch a higher price. For example, a 2000 D Sacagawea dollar in MS65 condition or higher might sell for around $5 to $10. Rare examples in pristine condition or with errors, such as doubled dies or striking flaws, can command even higher prices. While the 2000 D Sacagawea dollar is not considered rare, it remains a cornerstone for collectors building a complete set of Sacagawea dollars. Its design, commemorating a key figure in American history, and its status as one of the first dollar coins of the millennium ensure its place in numismatic collections. The Sacagawea dollar's golden color comes from its unique manganese brass composition, which not only gives it a distinctive appearance, but also differentiates it from other U.S. coinage. Despite this, the coin does not contain any actual gold. The 2000 D Sacagawea dollar is a reminder of America's rich history and the contributions of indigenous people. If you've come across a 2000 D Sacagawea dollar in your collection or change, take a closer look. You might just find a piece worth preserving. Next up, the coin's obverse features the Shoshone guide Sacagawea, a crucial figure in the Lewis and Clark expedition, carrying her infant son, John Baptiste. The reverse displays a majestic eagle in flight, symbolizing the pioneering spirit and freedom. The 2000 P Sacagawea dollar was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, with hundreds of millions produced for general circulation. While it is not rare, this coin holds significant historical value as part of the first golden dollar series in U.S. history. Collectors often seek these coins for their striking design and place in American numismatic history. So, what is the value of a 2000p Sacagawea dollar today? For circulated coins, the value typically remains at face value, $1, due to the high mintage numbers. However, uncirculated coins in mint condition, particularly those graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can have a higher value. For instance, a 2000p Sacagawea dollar in MS65 condition or higher might sell for around $5 to $15. Coins with unique errors, such as off-center strikes or double dies, can command significantly higher prices, with rare error coins fetching hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. One fascinating version of the 2000p Sacagawea dollar is the Cheerios dollar. These coins were distributed as part of a promotional campaign in cereal boxes during early 2000. They feature a distinct reverse design with more detailed tail feathers on the eagle, making them highly sought after by collectors. A Cheerios dollar in pristine condition can sell for $5,000 to $25,000, depending on its grade. The Sacagawea dollar's golden color comes from its unique manganese brass composition. This material gives the coin its distinctive appearance, but contains no actual gold, despite its shiny golden hue. The 2000p Sacagawea dollar serves as both a functional piece of currency and a tribute to Sacagawea's role in American history. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just starting out, this coin is an excellent addition to any collection. Have you found a 2000p Sacagawea dollar in your change? It might be worth taking a closer look, especially if it could be one of the rare Cheerios dollars. Like this video?